Hello everyone, I am JV and Dr. Mohammad Miraz Alam, Assistant Professor of Economics, Jyoti Vidyapeeth, Women's University, Jaipur. In this section of video, I will discuss priorities of the 11th five-year plan, which is the part of Indian economy, a paper which taught in the second semester of BA B.Ed student. In the previous video, I have discussed length about the five-year plan and its prospects. Now this is the third video on the 11th five-year plan. Uh, this is the what was the priorities of the 11th five-year plan I will discuss in this video. At the moment, the economy, when this plan was formulated, the period of the five-year plan was, as you all know, that was the 2007 to 11, 2007 to 12. But this is 2021. The discussion were held during that period, right? At the time of when the planning was formulated, when the priorities was formulated, uh, that means in 2007 to 12, right? The economy of the country, while finalizing its 11th plan, finalized three important priorities, right? What was the priorities at that time? They have finalized. What was the three important priorities we'll discuss in the coming part of this video. The first priority is to rise to the challenge of maintaining and managing high growth rate. The first priority was that how to manage high level of economic growth. As we all know that it is not a just a word. Economic growth is not a just a word. To maintain high level of economic growth, which requires something more, which requires something extra. I tell you how economic growth is coming and is going high. We all know that there are different how to measure economic growth. There are different measure of economic growth. There are one of the easiest method to calculate the economic growth is the per capita income. If per capita income of any country is increasing over the period of time, usually we assume the economic growth is taking place, and it is correct, as we all know that, right? Uh, the first and foremost priority was that how to maintain the high economic growth. That means if people's per capita income increasing or increased, that means economic growth is happening or taking place. But high level of economic growth, for maintaining the high level of economic growth, should, is needed more extra, needed something extra. What is extra is that we need huge amount of investment in across sector of the Indian economy, or any economy, those who want to dream a high economic growth, right? Huge amount of investment are needed to increase high level of economic growth in the different sector of the economy, such as in the infrastructure, in the education, in the health sector. Infrastructure, as we all know, that includes the roads, the transports, highways, ports, dams, and in the different sector of the economy, right? Usually, we all know that there are two different types of investment, right? Uh, One is the FDI, as we all know that. What is FDI? If investment takes place in the physical form of infrastructure, if investment take place in the physical form of infrastructure, that is known as FDI. The second priority is boosting the twin pillar of high growth and fiscal prudence and high investment. The experience of growth during the past few years has clearly demonstrated the benefits of fiscal prudence along with FRBM lines. Moreover, policies have to be designed in flexible manner or enhancing investment in the economy to lay a robust economic growth. a robust foundation for growth. Here we need investment in both public and private, domestic and foreign. As we all know that there are two types of as we all know know that I was discussing, there are two types of investment takes place. That is the FDI in the form of FDI, that is foreign directive investment, which are taking place in the physical infrastructure. Another is the FII, foreign institutional investment, which takes place in the financial institutions such as in the share market, in the money market, and in the different institutions, in the insurance, in the banking sector. These are included in the FIIs, right? For the robust economic growth in India, we need both types of investment in the both the sector, such as in the public sector and the private sector. As we all know that public sector, which is controlled and monitored by the government, that is known as the public sector, and the private sector is the sector which are controlled and held and monitored by the private individuals, known as the private sector. And domestic and foreign, as we all know that if a person is from India and they are doing investment, these are they are considered as a domestic investment. And if a foreign person or if other country doing investment will be categorized as a foreign investment, right? The third priority is improving the effectiveness of government intervention in the critical area, especially in the social sector. Here is the third priority is the most important in the case of India, because it includes the social sector. As we all know that social sector includes the education, health, housing, water, potable water, sanitation, which are very important for any economic development of the world. If we are not able to develop these sectors, especially is which is known as social sector, we should not expect a good development or good economic growth, because economic growth depend on these sectors, right? The third, accordingly, the goal of attaining inclusive growth can be achieved only through the effective intervention in the areas of education, health, and support to the needy through proper designing and monitoring the program. As we all know that if you want to achieve the inclusive growth, we have to invest in the education, health sector, and support to the needy, especially for the poor section, marginal section, which are required support from the government. They cannot develop themselves because they don't have a ability to pay. They don't have a such amount of capital which are required for development, right? In the area of social sector, there is urgent need of government intervention or government support. RTI is the one of the example of government intervention in the education sector. As we all know that since inception of the planning, and after when India got independence, India adopted the model of the socialism, right? There were different model of economy. That is the one of is the socialism. In the socialist country, usually resources are held and controlled by the government. But in the case of India, India adopted both the approach, both public and private sector, which make India as a mixed economy. But in the critical sector of the economy, the need and support of the government was always required for the resounding and robust economic growth. Okay. Now, the Economic Survey 2007 6-7 rightly observed a sense of optimism characterized the current economic conjuncture, fostering the momentum of growth continue to be a top priority. Sustainability of such growth will depend on carefully calibrating policies to the tame inflation without dampening growth. There are mainly two important challenges for the government to maintain the high level of economic growth with low level of inflation. As I already told you, when economic growth takes place, there are certain amount of inflation are always there, but it should be very remain. If inflation is going to be more than creeping inflation, that is 2% or 3%, more than the 3%, which will hamper the economic growth in the different capacity. Okay, so maintain the sustainable growth. It is the challenge of the government to contain and control the high inflation. Otherwise, resounding economic growth will be tough to achieve. Okay. Uh, Formulating appropriate supply side measures to control the inflation. There should be, as we all know, that there are different types of inflation. One is the cost push inflation. Cost push inflation always takes place because when there is a bottleneck in the supply, right? Particularly in agriculture, better design and more effective delivery of social services such as education, health, and poverty alleviation to make the growth more inclusive, putting fresh impetus behind infrastructure. Okay. And thus, the priority areas of the 11th five-year plan were the shortlisted as agriculture, irrigation, health, education, poverty elevation, and schemes for backward section of the population. As we all know that in India there are different section group. Someone needs reservation, someone needs subsidy, someone needs other types of help, so they can develop themselves. The motive of this support was to develop human resources into the human capital, which are from which we can gain the demographic dividend, right? Now come to the next part of the vision, that which is the vision, objective, and targets of the 11th five-year plan. The Planning Commission has finalized the vision and objective of the 11th plan, keeping in conformity with the National Common Minimum Program of the UPA government. When 11th five-year plan was formulated, there was a UPA government in the power. They make a think tank group, that is National Common Minimum Program. The draft approach paper of 11th plan has outlined its vision and objective in the following lines, right? The 11th five-year plan provides an opportunity to restructure policies to achieve a new vision of growth that will be much more broad-based and inclusive, bringing about faster reduction in poverty and helping bridge the divides that are currently the focus of so much attention, right? The first step in this direction were initiated in the middle of the 10th plan based on NCLP adopted by the government. The steps must be further strengthened and consolidated into a strategy for the 11th plan. Rapid growth has to be an essential part of the strategy, since it is only in rapidly growing economy that we can expect to raise incomes of the masses sufficient to bringing general improvement in linking conditions. Fortunately, the growth objective is now more achievable than it has ever been. Work done by the Planning Commission and Elsevier suggests that the economy can grow between 8 to 9% on the sustainable basis, provided appropriate policies are put in places, right? With the population growing at 1.5% per year, this would ensure that the real income of the average Indian would double in 10 years, one of the target of the 11th five-year plan. It is also possible to adopt policies that will ensure that this growth is broad-based, benefiting all parts of the country, and especially in the rural areas. This must be accompanied by a major effort to provide access to the basic facilities such as health, education, clean drinking water, etc., to a large part of our population which do not have such access at present. Government at different level must ensure provision of these services. Improved level of health and education are in fact critical inputs that determine the growth potential in the long term in the economy. Even if we succeed in achieving the broad-based and inclusive growth, there are many groups that may still be marginalized. These includes primitive tribal groups, adolescent girls, children in the age group of 0 to 3, and other who do not have a strong lobbies to ensure that their rights are guaranteed. although it was guaranteed in the constitution. The 11th plan must pay special attention to the need of these groups. The private sector, including farming, small scale enterprises, and the corporate sector, has a critical role to play in achieving the objective of faster and more inclusive growth. This sector account for 70% of total investment in the economy, and our policies must aim at creating an environment in which entrepreneurship can flourish. However, it will also call for substantial increase in the allocation of public resources for planned programs in critical areas. These resources will be easier to mobilize if the economy grows rapidly. The growth component of its strategy is therefore important for two reasons. It will contribute directly by raising income level and employment for the population in general, and it will also help to finance programs that are necessary to ensure that growth is more broad-based and inclusive. There is a need for self-critical look at our program and the policies to see what is working and what is not. Programs designed to achieve particular objectives often fail to do so, even though substantial expenditure may be incurred on them. We need to move away from focus on outlays to hard look at outcomes. Thus, the approach paper suggests a broad approach to tackling this problem in 11th plan by building on our strength and countering the weaknesses of the economy. uh, this is sufficient for this video. I will stop uh, here, and in the next video I will discuss particularly the objectives which were targeted in the 11th 5-year plan. Thank you so much watching me.